it's an exciting time to be a young person in Africa.
We need to collaborate, we need to work together because that way we'll be more powerful.
What the continent specifically needs is young people
who are not seen as a problem, but who are part of the solution.
We're always pushed back, set aside, because we are children.
Sub-Saharan Africa's streets are becoming more youthful, with young people projected as representing 75% of the total population by 2015. Already, 15 and 25-year-olds represent more than 60% of Africa's population. For some, this represents a ticking time bomb. For others, a demographic dividend. Meet our Upstarts. These are 5 young Africans brought together by the World Economic Forum's Global Shaper community and on a mission to shape the continent's future by cultivating excellence in their respective industries and corners of the continent.
Hi, my name is Lynette Ntuli. I'm the CEO of Innate Investment Solutions. I'm also the chairman of IgniteSA.com. A lot of the work that I do is centered around development. Within Innate Solutions, we develop physical properties, we develop physical infrastructure.
I've been lucky enough to travel around the continent. Every time I've been out on the continent, I've learned so much. I've seen different ways of doing things. I've seen progress that as South Africans should actually make us sit up and take attention.
My name is Doreen Noni. I'm a global shaper from the Dar es Salaam hub. I am a struggling fashion designer. I say struggling because it is the reality of the situation.
So this is Kariko. Welcome to Kariko. Follow me. Go. We're looking for fabric for these clothes and the clothes that I'm going to wear at the forum. And this is the shop I usually come to. I bought some yellow, what's this again? Soft bridal. And this copper looking fabric that I don't remember the name.
After graduation, I moved back to Mali. I wanted to apply what I've learned in the outside world and come and show it here in my own country. So I came back and started working for my family, for the family farm, where it's a modern farm where we find different techniques to help combat malnutrition and poverty.
My name is Karuna Rana. I'm a young environmentalist from Mauritius. I have an organization called Greenit. And we work a lot on behavioral change and awareness within young people, and we educate the public to be more conscious about the environment.
My name is Muhammed Abushaqra. I'm the national coordinator of the Youth Entrepreneurship and Sustainability Summit. And because of the Arab Spring and the revolution in my country, I want to tackle the idea of the macroeconomics of youth. The idea is exactly how to start an economic structure that addresses the youth majority in the population in the Arab countries.
The Upstarts are on their way to Cape Town for the Global Shapers 2013 Shape Africa event and then the World Economic Forum on Africa.
Here is to Cape Town. Hopefully it won't be as cold as we think it is.
So we finally landed to Cape Town and ready for Shape Africa.
Welcome to Shape Africa. You guys are awesome. Wow.
According to Director of the Global Shapers community, Yemi Babington Ashaye, it takes someone special to be a global shaper.
3 criteria to be a shaper. The first is your age. You need to be between 20 and 29 to join the community. Once you're in, you can stay a member for 5 years or until you're 33. The second is what we like to call your substance, your essence. It's either stuff you've done or the potential you show. And this could be, for example, we have a shaper in the hub in Harare who's 27. And at the age of 27, he's already published 40 books. We had a shaper in the Tunis hub, for example, who's in the Guinness Book of World Records twice, also for writing. So basically it's your essence, but it's also your potentials. So you don't have to be an overachiever. We have people who didn't finish high school, for example. The last criteria is probably the most important one. You have to commit to working with the other members of your hub to doing something positive for your city, for your local community. Now, without this last criteria, you're not a shaper. It doesn't matter if you won a Nobel Prize. This is not an award. Being a shaper is a commitment.
They sat, they listened, as a number of leaders in fields such as entrepreneurship, education and social innovation shared some of their insights.
What I've said to the Shapers community is that it's Africa's time. Africa rising, it's our time. But is that a myth or is that real?
When you learn about Africa, you learn about what's possible, the opportunities, the resources that exist across borders. I think you begin to see that coming back and serving the continent is not just about giving over your life and sacrificing for the good of the people. No, it actually is profitable. You can do well by doing good.
It's kind of like running a business, right? So just imagine the country is the business and your market is young entrepreneurs, right? So you want to take a product, to give it to your market, what do you need to do? Understand your market. So the simple thing of understanding what young entrepreneurs need. Ask them. It's quite simple. Ask them what they need. Ask them what can we do to enable things to make it easier for you. Put entrepreneurs into a room, give them a problem, they will come up with solutions.
With gatherings such as this one, often criticized for being talk shops, action was at the top of the minds of many of the global shapers attending.
We need to take the talk and really turn it into some real action, because after a while you kind of get talked up and you get quite tired of talking, you just want to do stuff. And I think it really is about us as shapers and everyone else who's really engaging here, holding each other accountable to actually deliver on what we promise and what we say.
I want to get to a point where I'm actually out there doing something with a fellow global shaper, and we're not just talking in a room, which seems very exclusive, but we're actually doing something.
I think on these policy questions, everyone's raging about African growth, and I believe it, and I know the potential's there, but how are we going to actually realize it? And that's one of the things I'm quite keen on getting down to.
Many times you go to meetings, but you don't get to meet African leaders, young African leaders.
I feel that the more people that we're representing today, which is those people in the communities that we're trying to change, need to be here, because we want to hear their voices.
We may be more exposed than the average young person, but that's a plus. We have an interesting worldview, but it's grounded in local reality.
Why are you here? Where are you from? Yes.
Elsie Kanza is one African who has had vast experience working on the ground on the continent and now sits as head for Africa at the World Economic Forum. We put the question to her: is the youth inclusion in the World Economic Forum on Africa's program just ticking a box?
Very often, very few of our traditional leaders get a chance to interact with this new generation of leaders, and conversely, this new generation of leaders often does not get a chance to understand the bigger picture, not just in Africa, but across the world. And we hope by bringing them into the main meeting, this will give them an opportunity to do exactly that and help them redefine what it is that they're doing in a broader context, and perhaps also gain insights and develop new partnerships that can help them have a bigger impact in their communities.
Until I realized that the actual global shapers were brought into major panels with heavyweights in their own industries, that I realized it actually isn't necessarily just a talk shop. I personally sat on a panel with Mohammed Yunus and the founder with Professor Klaus Schwab, and that's an experience most senior business people wouldn't ever have. And to be engaging and be considered seriously in that kind of platform, for me, changed that perspective a lot. So I don't think it's just lip service. They've actually made sure they deliver that in their major events. It's not a separate Global Shapers event happening alongside it. They are part of the main programs. It's not separate panels. It's part of the main discussions, and all the private meetings that happen between industry leaders, the Global Shapers are also invited to those.